Tesla's got a big problem that might just totally change the way you use your car forever, and not in a good way. Things are not looking good. And look, I own a Tesla, I drive a Tesla, obviously, I love the company, but they're making a couple of big mistakes right now that I think are not good, and they're not doing any good for current Tesla owners and new Tesla owners who are buying cars every single day. Tesla's making some mistakes, and I think that we should have an honest conversation and talk about these mistakes happening right now. So let me break down 6 of Tesla's biggest mistakes that are going on right now, things they're doing that I don't agree with. A little bit of a controversial video. It's gonna be a little spicy, so you might agree with me, you might disagree with me, but as always, we can discuss in the comments down below. But let's get into some of the juicy Tesla drama. And a huge thanks to RECURRENT for sponsoring this video. They offer a totally free monthly battery report that gives you some incredible insight into some really useful data points on your EV's battery and tips on things you can do to keep it in tip-top shape, but more on that in a moment. So let me start by saying that if it isn't already clear by the videos I make on this channel, I'm a Tesla fan. I love the company, I love the cars, and I'm not looking to make some kind of hit piece video or some negative video, but rather just have a frank and honest discussion about some things that Tesla is doing right now that I think are less than ideal decisions that, in my opinion, are negatively affecting owners all over the world. And as Tesla's become more and more popular around the world, as they are becoming every single day, these problems are going to get bigger and bigger. And again, they're just going to continue to negatively affect all Tesla owners. Starting off with mistake number 1, this is a spicy one. I know it's controversial, but I think that one of the biggest mistakes Tesla's making right now is the opening of Tesla's supercharging stations, I guess the supercharging network, to third-party EVs that are obviously non-Tesla vehicles. And before I go any further, and before anyone comments down below, I know that Tesla's mission is to accelerate the electrification of vehicles and to get all auto manufacturers, especially legacy auto manufacturers, to adopt electric vehicles and sort of get away from fossil fuels and gas and stuff like that. And obviously, opening up the supercharger network to all EVs would definitely be a big benefit and would make this acceleration happen faster. And the opening up of the supercharger network to everyone would eliminate one of the biggest barriers to entry for many people, and that is easily charging their cars outside of their home and eliminating a lot of that range anxiety that all new owners and even current owners seem to have. And from what I understand and from what I've read, not sure if this is true or not, Tesla never intended their charging connector to be proprietary, but rather it was really their only option at the time when they built the supercharger network and they built the Model S and the Model X, because there really wasn't a default standard, at least not here in North America. So the supercharger network was never meant to be a Tesla exclusive thing from the get-go, but obviously since it was only the Model S and Model X in the beginning and then the 3 and the Y, really just Tesla's dominated that network, and it became sort of a perk to owning a Tesla. You were the only one that got access to that exclusive supercharger network. At least that was the case until now. Tesla has been expanding their pilot program over the last few months that is opening up supercharger access to non-Tesla EVs, including adapters on supercharger stalls so other owners can come in and plug in their EV like any other Tesla owner would be able to. And on the one hand, I get it. This is a good thing. It's a huge advantage to every electric vehicle driver on the road. And because Tesla is so far ahead, everyone sort of gets to reap the rewards and gain the benefit of this sprawling supercharger system. They've got superchargers all over the world. They're fast, they're very reliable, and they're put in strategic locations to make road trips super convenient and really, quite frankly, even possible thanks to the work Tesla has done over years and years and years. But as great as this is for all EV owners, I don't think it's really necessarily a great move for Tesla owners for one big reason. That is, and it continues to be, that the supercharger network is one of the biggest Tesla advantages the company currently has, especially as the landscape for EVs becomes more and more competitive. People are looking for more reasons than ever to choose their vehicle, and as Tesla has sort of had some other issues and people aren't thrilled with the lack of CarPlay and Android Auto and some features that are missing here and there, putting that to the side, many people are very concerned about charging outside of the home, and Tesla's supercharger network is a huge advantage. Again, there are so many around the world. They are fast, they are reliable. It's one of the biggest perks to owning a Tesla vehicle, and I know so many people who bought a Tesla specifically for the use and because of the existence of the supercharger network, and opening it up to everybody would sort of make one of Tesla's biggest advantages disappear seemingly overnight, or at least over the next couple of years. Number 2 is another controversial take that I know many will not agree with me on. There's a lot of divisiveness in the community on this one, but I think it's worth mentioning, and that is the lack of any third-party apps, specifically when it comes to third-party music and media streaming. And I'm not even talking App Store here. I'm talking basic streaming apps like Pandora, YouTube Music, Apple Music, Audible. It's pretty crazy that a car of this price and of this caliber in 2022 doesn't support basic third-party streaming like that. I mean, I know there's Bluetooth, but come on, Bluetooth is not as ideal as having something built right into your car. And it's not even that these companies would not develop specifically for Tesla. I'm sure even if an App Store was there or wasn't there, if Tesla gave developers access to this API just for streaming, almost all these companies, I'm sure, would develop apps and have resources set aside and would make these apps happen, because Tesla owners are growing as a number every day, and Tesla owners are enthusiastic about being able to use these apps inside of their car. It just seems to make so much sense. And I understand that they don't want to do CarPlay or Android Auto. They've got their own thing. They've got their own software suite. I totally get that, and I respect that decision. But not being able to play a podcast from a non-Spotify source and like having to go through the Bluetooth hoops and stuff like that, it's just not a sleek experience. And especially as tech-focused and tech-packed as these cars are, not having third-party apps, not even an app store, just third-party apps, not even having the option for that, just seems like a real big limitation that is honestly annoying to me, and I think annoying to many people out there too. The only real alternative for Tesla today is to adopt a CarPlay or Android Auto-like system, which I know they're not going to do. Which basically means the App Store is going to be the only thing remaining to make this stuff happen. There are consistent rumors that Tesla is working on an App Store. We could see some sources say maybe as soon as before the end of 2022. I'm not sure what that timeline is going to be. But I do think that if this does come, it's going to be a really big deal and really democratize the use of so many apps inside of the Tesla and take a lot of that control away from Tesla and give a lot more control back to the consumers and the developers, which I think is ultimately going to be a really good thing if it ever does happen. Now, before we continue, let's take a quick break because I want to talk about one of my favorite companies in the EV space, a company you need to know about whether you own a Tesla or really if you own any EV, and that is RECURRENT. And for those who haven't heard of RECURRENT before, let me introduce you to an amazing company that is making it super simple to get essential battery info on your car. So EV owners and even potential EV owners can be better informed on the health of their EV's battery, both in the short term and in the long term as well. And RECURRENT is doing a ton of amazing things in the EV space, but one of my favorite offerings from them is this totally free monthly battery report that allows you to connect your EV to the RECURRENT system and get automatic monthly insights into how your battery is doing and how it compares to other similar vehicles in the RECURRENT fleet. And to give you a little live demo, here is my July report on my 2022 Model Y. And by now, you guys probably know the basics. I've got a 2022 long-range Model Y with about 5,500 miles on it. And with that many miles, we can really start to see how some of my decisions and my charging habits, more specifically, have started to affect the battery. Under the expected range module here, I could see it's about 322 miles of range right now, about 8 miles off from the 330 that the EPA originally estimated for this car. This next module is super cool, and that is my range prediction in 3 years. And with my current battery health, I'm getting an estimate of about 304 to 305 miles, which I still think is really good 3 years from now. I can also see the average market value here at a glance, which is really nice to see from this chart, which you can see has been on the rise since about March. Now, moving on, this next section is my favorite because this is where we really get to do a deep dive into the data that RECURRENT is collecting, again, totally automatically. For example, this module here shows me how my vehicle's range compares to other similar vehicles in the RECURRENT fleet. This next module is a little embarrassing as it's a breakdown of my charging habits for July that, safe to say, were not ideal. And to minimize battery degradation, it's recommended to stay in the target zone, basically keeping your battery between a a 30 and 80% state of charge, which I didn't do so well at doing last month in July. Definitely got some room for improvement here. In the last two modules here, I can see how far I can go with my current range with this really nice map visualization. And I can also see here how my range will be affected based off of temperature. And what's also worth noting here is that Recurrent just wrapped up a grant with the National Science Foundation to study real world range in Model 3s. And those results are going to be coming soon to make this module way better and show a better representation of how range is going to be affected by temperature, because the way Tesla currently calculates it in their vehicle isn't all that great. So Recurrent's got some great data. It's going to make this module way better than what Tesla is currently doing. Again, a huge thanks to Recurrent for sponsoring this video. They've been an amazing partner to work with here on this channel. They're doing some incredible things. If you want to learn more about Recurrent, all the amazing stuff they're doing, and sign up for this totally free monthly battery report, which I definitely recommend you do, hit the link right down below right now to learn more and sign up totally for free today. Let's talk charging cable, because this one is, despite what Tesla says, a really big deal. And I know this has also been a very controversial subject as well, as I've talked about it in previous videos. Now, what the charging cable I'm referring to is like the charging kit. It's that mobile kit that you get with the car, you used to get with the car, that basically would allow you to plug the car in to charge it at home, whether it was through a regular outlet or a 240 volt outlet. It was the cable you needed to charge the car. Think about buying a phone and it didn't come with the cable that you needed to charge the phone. And not just that, let's say you switched from Android to iOS, and this is your very first iPhone, to not have the cable in the box sort of seems crazy, and that's kind of, for lack of a better illustration, what Tesla is doing. Now, good news here is that from what I've heard from you guys in the comments, it seems like Tesla isn't really enforcing this policy of not including the charging kit with the car, which I think is a really good thing. And that's mainly because I don't think Tesla's reasoning behind this is really good at all. Again, Elon claimed that the reason Tesla removed this was because of low usage, but from what I've heard from talking to other owners and from what we've seen online, that just isn't the case. People rely on these cables to use. And I understand wanting to eliminate waste and stuff like that, and I think that if owners were given the option to opt out, that'd be fine. Or maybe if they included it with your first Tesla, but not your second or third, I totally get all of those things. But as so many people are buying Teslas for the very first time, heck, buying EVs for the very first time, not including the charging cable, the kit with the car, seems like a horrible mistake. It just adds more friction to this process. It just makes it more complicated, more confusing for people, more inconvenient. Not even that, not only do you have to pay extra to get it, but you also have to wait sometimes months if it's out of stock. So you could get your car delivered in theory and not even have a way to charge it at your house. That just seems crazy to me. I'm sorry. I don't see the rationale behind this. I don't see the excuse. I've talked to so many people and have had to sort of warn them of this pitfall, and it just seems like a horrible decision to me. Again, I like Tesla, but this seems like the wrong move to me. But luckily, like I mentioned before, I've heard that Tesla isn't really enforcing this. At least a lot of people are getting the cars with the kit included. So make of that what you will, but to me, this seems like a major issue that Tesla definitely needs to backpedal on, and silently or not, just change the decision they made a number of months ago. For number 4, this is another one, yet another one that is a hot button issue in the Tesla community, and that is the price of full self-driving. And I'm not here, let me be clear, I'm not here to criticize the use case of full self-driving or the features of the FSD beta. I think all that stuff is incredible. I think full self-driving is great, and it's a great set of features. It's not even the price that's the issue for me. It's how Tesla chooses to implement that price. Because for $12,000, you are making an investment into a feature set, and I get that. But tying full self-driving to the vehicle and not to the owner's account seems like a really big mistake, because Tesla markets this as an investment that you buy it in now, it's going to get more expensive over time. So if I was to pay this money and buy this full self-driving feature set, why can't that investment pay dividends for me and get me to stick around and buy more Tesla vehicles? I've heard so many people who have talked about buying full self-driving a number of years ago, never really being able to experience what Tesla promised that feature set would do, and then having to buy it all over again with a new car, and then have to pay it for it all over again. Why can't you buy it once, it stays on your account, and then every time you buy a new Tesla, you get to experience the fruit of your labor, getting to experience full self-driving because you paid for it once. Does that sort of make sense? Tesla, don't tie FSD to the car, tie it to the account. Number 5 is one that I think Tesla will actually start to correct soon, especially seeing that they've just stopped taking orders of the long-range Model 3, and that is to officially sell the standard range Model Y. I know that this is a little bit more complicated because there are logistical issues with this. They can only produce these cars so fast. But because we know the standard range Model Y exists, it's being built at Giga Texas, and it's available off menu, why not make this an official thing you can buy on the site, or at least put a pre-order in on the site? Because I feel like there's so many reasons that this car is the perfect option for many people out there who don't need the long-range model, but who are buying it because they have no other choice. All right, and now for number 6, something that personally sort of grinds my gears. That is some of the missing features of the standard range Model Y. I guess it was a Standard Range Plus, or now the rear-wheel drive Model 3. Did I say Model Y? Model 3. What I mean by that is that I know that this car is a cheaper version of the Model 3. It's not the long-range model. It's got the partial premium interior. And I get that they have to make some differences there and some sacrifices to bring the price down. You've got reduced range. You've got a smaller battery. You've got reduced performance. I get all that. But to not include basic things like floor mats, interior lighting, or at least all interior lighting, frunk mats, fog lights, all that stuff seems just crazy to me, and I don't know if they change this. I know Tesla has made some changes to that model over the past few years in terms of features, so correct me if I'm wrong if they fix this below. But when I took delivery of that car, even if it was, I think, $45,000 or near $50,000, to not get floor mats seems absolutely crazy to me. So what I'd love to see, I guess one of my little pet peeves, my complaints, is for Tesla to either include those things and make sacrifices in other areas, or simply include floor mats with your base car. Especially for the price, that seems like an unacceptable move that just sort of seems cheap to me, and not in line with someone who's paying so much for this car should be expecting. And I'm curious, guys, what are your thoughts on these Tesla controversies? Do you think they're blown out of proportion? Do you think they're a really big deal? Do you think they're an issue? Do you think that you agree with my list or not? What are your thoughts on this stuff? Let me know down below if you think this is a problem for Tesla and how you think they should address it, if at all. Or do you think that I'm totally wrong and my videos are just clickbait and you just hate the videos? Because that seems to be a common theme as well. As always, though, guys, I kid. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. Hopefully you guys enjoyed these videos. I'm trying to release content even as the news cycle has slowed down. But these are things that are on my mind and I thought were worth addressing. So let me know your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and let me know down below because I'd appreciate the support as well. But also if you criticize the video and you don't like it, let me know down there as well. We can discuss. As always, though, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. I'm Robert Rosenfeld, and I'll see you all in the next one.